Hi guys, welcome back. This is Emily from Relics, and today I wanted to do two flip throughs in one for you guys. So the books that you see here are not only some of the first quote-unquote junk journals that I ever made, they are also the first two books I ever made for my Celtic carpet book series. So very long story short, because I could ramble about it forever, I am totally obsessed with all things Celtic. I feel like I have a Celtic soul. I have felt that way for the majority of my life. I fell in love with Irish music when I was like 11 or 12, which led me to discover Irish dancing. I was an Irish dancer, a competitive Irish dancer for over a decade of my life. Scotland is my favorite place on earth. I've been there several times. You probably noticed in the last couple of videos, all my rings are Celtic knotwork. So anyway, I'm just totally obsessed with all things Celtic, and I wanted to express or channel that love of Celtic culture and Celtic landscapes into my books. And these are the first two I ever attempted to do that with. I made these books maybe like 5 months ago now. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is, because the books that I was making just, 5, 6, 7 months ago are not the books that I'm making now. I am progressing and evolving and changing at an incredibly rapid rate. So these books are basically, you can tell basically when I'm flipping through them, you'll be able to see how I was just starting to implement the ideas of pockets and patterned paper and all that stuff. So anyway, let's get started. We'll start with the big one. Make sure I'm centered. So this book, as you can see, is narrower and longer, which I think is a very elegant, beautiful look for a book. It is just over 6 inches wide by 11 inches long. The fabric that I used for this one and the other one is just stunning. I am totally obsessed. It's this gorgeous, autumnal, warm color scheme. There's the back. And here's the spine. Coptic stitch. As with all of my books from the very, very beginning, I have used professional bookbinders board for the covers, archival grade adhesive throughout the book, 100% Irish linen waxed thread for the binding, and the text block is made from predominantly 50-pound drawing paper. So with that, also I left the nameplate or the book plate blank, so you can write whatever word you would like there, maybe your name. So let's go inside. All right, so we've got this swirly, rich, chocolatey end paper, and then this illustration down here of a castle, which I turned into a pocket. All of the illustrations in this book, and I think most in the other one I'll show you, came from a book that I had all about like mythical beasts or myths and legends from ancient times. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but the illustrations were from that book, because I really hadn't realized at the time just how much digital kits are my friend. So I was using whatever I had around me, and that was a book I had around me. So inside is just a little library card. Everything is coffee dyed as usual. You guys know the drill. Tracing paper, and here I took everything out earlier to prepare, and then I didn't put it back. So anyway, this was just like this, paper clipped in. It's an envelope that I made with a little burn. This is another image from that mythical book. I just love it. It's so unique, so beautiful. I don't know exactly what it is. It's like a mountain surrounded by gemstones all held together in a tree. And then this is a little Celtic knotwork charm on the paper clip. So that just goes right like this. And the illustration, fix that later. The illustration is a side pocket. So you could put all kinds of fun stuff in there. Raven on a branch stamp, because I mean, how could I have a business name, Raven Relics, and not have a raven stamp? Seriously. There is a Celtic Tree of Life stamp on either side of this big old world map. Little burn spot down there at the bottom. Look at those stains. Oh my goodness, I cannot handle it. I could not do that again if I tried. Well, I actually probably could. But it's just so cool. Pattern paper. Little tiny tuck spot on the back with a tag. Other side with patterned paper. Very, very simple. A big side pocket with an illustration of some sort of old Celtic like nature god. There's some of the words on the back. I just literally cut it right out of the book. More patterned paper. You could use this, I mean, any journal that you buy of mine, obviously, you buy it, it's yours. You can now do literally whatever you want with it. But a journal like this that has really just like the bare bones of what's in a junk journal would make a great scrapbook or like a collage book. So many options. This is another illustration from that book. It's double-sided. On this side is, I think I remember actually there was some sort of sleeping giant myth. And then on the back is a very creepy and cool Celtic dog, all entangled in the Celtic knotwork. I like things that are a little dark and creepy, and that certainly is. Just very unique. I'm always trying to find the most unique images and ephemera and stamps to use. Because I don't want to be like everybody else. Other side of the brown paper. Some green paper. Huge unicorn crest from that book. A little piece of the cover fabric. And then this is a coffee dyed glycine bag. Is it glycine or glassine? I've heard it pronounced both ways. And inside is a piece of big parchment paper, just something different and fun to write on, and some actual dried flowers. And this is just some fringe from the cover fabric. Little piece of vellum, pretty patterned paper. And then another envelope I did not put away from earlier. I made this illuminated letter illustration that I'm totally obsessed with into a big side pocket. And I paper clipped another envelope I made myself with a key stencil, and inside of the envelope I put a skeleton key. So I'll put all that away later. Sorry, I am still sniffling. I still have a cold. It's so annoying. But it is what it is. That is January in New England for you. Another tuck spot. This is Tsunami Rose, an owl stamp, and then a piece of ledger paper. I don't think I would put ledger paper in a Celtic book now, but hey, I was just getting started. And then here is a library card that I made into a pocket, another little Tsunami Rose. I think Tsunami Rose was one of the first, I guess, artists that make digital kits that I ever discovered ever. So some of my earliest books have quite a bit of Tsunami Rose in them. And then here's the back. Big nameplate, my little maker's mark down at the bottom. And there we go. So that is that one. Now let's go into this handsome little dude. Everything is pretty much the same. I use different corner protectors. There's the back, spine, and both of these books have approximately 200 pages. Everything's the same. The bare bones, like the the thread, the glue, the board, all that kind of stuff, that has been the same since the very, very beginning. Everything is literally the highest grade stuff that I can find. So that professional bookbinder's board, archival grade adhesive, Irish linen thread. Now in this one, I used 2 Celtic border stamps that I did not use in the first one I just showed you. This is one of them. Same end paper, that pretty chocolate brown. There's that raven stamp again. This is the second border stamp, by the way. And then I used another image from that myth book, just a bunch of knights, kind of a cool scene, and then a piece of black map, just as a journaling card. Pretty patterned paper. A little tuck spot. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, going back over some of my older books like this, you know, my first response is kind of like, oh, they're so simple. Like, it's very simple compared to some of the books that I can make now, but part of me is like, yeah, I like the simple. Simple's good. Here's a side pocket made out of the cover fabric. Little journaling card. Celtic border stamp again. Here is a side pocket that I made out of an illustration of a Gothic archway. Another handmade envelope with a key, stencil. There's the key inside of the envelope, so this one is gold. And on the paper clip, I put this heart-shaped keyhole charm. I don't know why it's not focusing. Okay. Moving on. Mossy green end paper. When I think Celtic, I think mossy green and like mustard yellow. Those are always the first 2 colors that come up in my head. And gray, obviously. Gray. This is that big piece of parchment paper I was talking about. Same thing in the other glycine bag from the first book. A little burnt edge down there. So glycine bag there, some fringe. Library card with another crest from that mythical book. Stamps, lined paper. Tuck spot. This one is just a stamp. This one I made into a pocket, and I put in the cutest, there we go, sorry. I put in the cutest envelope that folds out. So it's actually pretty long. Just tuck that right in there. Celtic Tree of Life stamp, again, on either side of a map. This time it's that black map that I made a journaling card out of in the first pocket. Let's see if I can, there we go. Piece of vellum, more patterned paper. Here's the illuminated letter illustration again. Celtic charm holding down an envelope, and it's a side pocket. This is the last little pocket in which I put another Tsunami Rose tag. There we go. And this is a real vintage playing card from the 1960s. This one has a really cool medieval knight illustration on it. And that's it. Here's my little logo maker's mark at the bottom. And there you go. So those are, again, my first two Celtic carpet books I ever made, some of the first junk journals I ever made. They have a very special place in my heart. I love them from cover to cover, and hopefully they'll go to a good home. They are both still available in my Etsy shop. I will link my Etsy shop, my website, and my Instagram account in the description box down below. Please feel free to comment or ask me a question, and like and subscribe this video if you want to see more. I just made an Instagram post talking about how I'm going to be putting out a new flip through YouTube video every single Monday, starting with today. So in theory, I will see you guys in a week. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.